So let's jump into yet again another Transformer Slag podcast Patreon listener question. Once again, if you want to join the Transformer Slag Patreon, be part of the Patreon, let us know that we're doing a good job on this daily podcast, filling you in with the news and talking about Transformers as much as humanly possible you can every single week. Patreon.com/Protoman. Hit those tiers. Let me know that I'm doing a good job. And what do you get? What do you get when you join the Patreon? Well, you get your name in the end credit scroll at the end of every single segment. You get to join the Patreon exclusive Discord chat. All the cool people that are part of the Discord chat. We're 100 plus at this point. We have a lot of great conversations, a lot of news breaks there. And of course, we have a whole bunch of exclusive content on the Discord, whether it be sales for Transformer products you could save money collecting in this hobby, or rare downloads of old Transformers lore. I'm going to be updating that soon with some new stuff, some cool scans of some vintage material. And of course, most importantly, the Patreon listener question. And once again, we have some Patreon listener questions from some familiar faces, but this time I'm actually fusing two questions into one because they are so similar. Here on the Transformer Slag podcast, we get a lot of Patreon listener questions, and once in a while, I think it's happened once before in all the years that this podcast has been around, that a question and another question in the same month are almost exactly the same. Usually I don't mind revisiting the same question if it's a couple years separated, because answers do change as time progresses. We all change over time. But this one is kind of similar, and I figure we could kind of work it together in this Patreon, and it's something that the listeners could answer too. So we have one from Impulsive, and we have another one from Space Ghostal, two of my prime tier Patreon members. Let's talk about it. So first, Impulsive wants to know, seeing as the Commander class has shown with every release that they're willing to do widely different things with it, like Jetfire's size, Skylynx's base mode and separation, Rodimus's trailer, what do you think your top three candidates for the Commander class treatment would be, and why? Mine would be Power Master Optimus Prime with his size and gimmick, Six Shot for his engineering, Starsaber for his scale, and let's just add Armada Optimus Prime and maybe Thunderclash for a trailer combining gimmick. So that's what Impulsive says. And then we have here with Space Ghostal, he adds also, why is there no Decepticon Commander classes? I wish Astro Chain would get that scale, to be honest. So I feel because also he brings in Commander classes that are Decepticons, so I figure we could kind of answer that all together, because my answer kind of adds Decepticons in a lot of ways. So first to kind of tackle what Space Ghostal said, technically we did get a Decepticon Commander class. It was the first Commander class, but we're kind of splitting hairs with it because he was advertised and copyrighted on his packaging as an Autobot, and it's that of Siege Jetfire. Now, Siege Jetfire in the fiction of the Siege Netflix series was a Decepticon, and his toy itself, while it is advertised as an Autobot, does have a faction swap gimmick on his chest that can make him a Decepticon. And you could kind of, switch up the weapons and stuff to make a different kind of look from an Autobot to a Decepticon Jetfire. But ultimately, in the end, yes, he is a Autobot advertised product. So maybe we still, in a lot of ways, didn't get our first pure Decepticon Commander class yet. But I do feel it will come. It's just a matter of timing and when it fits right with the theme and everything like that. And that kind of gets into with my answers with Impulsive's question here, or what my top three candidates would be. Now, one of my candidates, and this is no order specifically 1, 2, 3, it's just three, and then you could take from it what you will. I feel Starsaber's coming. I feel that Starsaber is on the short list. He just fits in perfectly. He really does. It's a trademark that I feel they'll figure something out. If they have to call it Victory Saber, if they want to go the Starsaber route, they'll figure something out, but he will be part of it. Why is that? Just everything that is Starsaber. He has that Brainmaster gimmick, number one. Number two, he has the combining gimmick in that he has a smaller robot, transforms, Brainmaster gimmick, and he has a larger super robot mode. He has his V trailer, or his V Star, which was his jet mode trailer. So he has his jet mode, he has his air trailer. They combine to make the big Starsaber giant jet. So that V-Star trailer is another gimmick. Then you add to it that trailer, at least with the original toy, had somewhat of a makeshift base platform mode. It wasn't the greatest one, but with the way that modern engineering is today, they could figure something out and make something out of it. If they can make Skylinks into a base mode, why not in the case of Starsaber's original trailer design? So there's a lot that could be done there. Add that with that Brainmaster gimmick that could be a line-wide kind of gimmick if they really want to milk it, much like they did with Titan's Return. I could see something being done. Now, is it going to be the next series? Maybe not, but give it a couple years, put some distance between Titan Returns and a Starsaber Brainmaster gimmick, and people don't mind visiting stuff after a couple years again. You can't hate it if it's not gone. As Dusty Rhodes used to always say, you can't miss me if I'm not gone. And it's true. If you take it away for a couple of years, people will miss it, and then they'll want it back. The next one that I would like to see, and it's something like Overlord. Now, Overlord, of course, was a Titan's Return kind of character, so he has been around recently, but I kind of compare it to, like, in a lot of ways, that we had a Voyager Skylynx in the Combiner Wars line, and then 4 years later, he's a Commander Class in Earthrise. So the way that I see it with something like that is we could pull off a pretty awesome product if you just create a distance and a gap between it. And Overlord is one of those characters that you could easily put as a Commander Class. He fits that size, he fits that gimmick, he fits that price point. 2 vehicles that combine to one. You could put the little Headmaster gimmicks, or in this case it would be a Power Master gimmick. You know, there's so much that could be done there that could fit with that price point and the gimmickry and stuff. That would be a lot of fun to do with. Pop-out stuff, base modes. They were able to pull it off with a Leader Class before. They could do it even better with a Commander Class. And, I mean, just to even go into, like, those distances. Like, think about, like, even a Rodimus Prime. And I'm not saying we should have a Commander Class Rodimus again, but, like, if you look at Rodimus Prime, he was originally a Power of the Primes thing, and then that magic number, like I always say, that magic trademark number, 4 years later, he's our Commander Class in 2021. So, Overlord, something could happen there. Something could happen. We could see him and her, he's kind of both. We could see that again sooner or later. For my last one, let's just say for the very last one, let's say Combiners. I don't want to, like, really pick one. I mean, if I had to pick one, it's pretty obvious from a business standpoint. But, you know, you got Starsaber for sure, Overlord, and Combiners. Because I feel Combiners could find a place in that price point. And, I mean, if I had to start off with a bang, it would obviously be Devastator. He's far from my favorite Combiner, but he's the one with the most cachet. And it's something that both the hardcore fans and even the casual fans could appreciate. It's a good product that you could bring to a San Diego Comic-Con. And you have a nice big booth, and a lot of casual Transformer fans, or even very limited Transformer fans, could walk by and go, hey, I remember that character. That character was cool. So I could see, like, Devastator, again, create a distance, create a gap from that original Titan Class 1 and go into a Commander Class for a whole new audience and a whole new collector base that didn't get that Titan Class, didn't get a chance to buy it, and now could buy something of a more better engineered and smaller scale. We shall see. It's a possibility. If we get, like, something where it's 2 Commander Classes a year, then we could belt out 6 different Combiners over a course of 3 years in a trilogy, and I think people would dig it at that new price point. But that's just one way I see it. None of this is gospel. It's just how I would apply that frame of thought and mindset. And I hope that kind of answers the question in a lot of ways, because just with that, you get Devastator and you get Overlord. There's 2 Decepticon Commanders. And you get your Starsaber just because Starsaber's awesome. Who do you think should be the next one? Who would be your candidates for the future, for a trilogy, if you will? Let me know what you think. Let Impulsive and maybe make Space Ghost still here happy, and make sure one of them's a Decepticon. Let them know what you think, and be a patron like them if you want to join the Patreon and ask a Patreon listener question, or just help support the podcast and let us know we're doing a good job. Again, patreon.com/Protoman. And it'll be in the description. It'll be in the comments below if you can't find the link. And thanks, everyone, for listening, and I hope to talk to you really soon.